Greetings, my name is Blaze, and today I wanted to talk a little bit more about Harry Potter and magic. And the reason I wanted to bring up Harry Potter is I had recently done a video that ended up getting quite a few views. And yeah, it was basically, are schools like Hogwarts real? And of course, yeah, there absolutely are schools that teach magic. Definitely worth watching that video, in my opinion. The interesting thing was twofold, really. The first thing, I noticed that most people were asking questions that were already answered in the video, which tells me you're not watching the video. It's like, if you click a video, watch it! Support the content creator. That would be me. And the second thing that I noticed is a lot of people were making comments that could either be considered slightly troll-related, just trolling the idea of the possibility of magic and mysticism being a real thing, but also trolling the whole concept of, oh, I'm here because Harry Potter, or I'm here because I want to use a broom and fly, or I'm here to learn Wingardium Leviosa. And it's like, I get it. Harry Potter's cool as shit. And that's kind of the topic of this video. So first and foremost, yeah, I'm a Harry Potter fan. Yes, we have all of the Harry Potter movies on DVD because they're awesome. Yes, we have all of the Harry Potter books hardback because, why not? And what do we have here? Hermione Granger's Light Up Wand. Because it's awesome. You put batteries in it, you flick it, and the tip glows. You flick it again, and it goes off. Which is pretty cool. And those of you who already know that spell, Lumos and Nox is the spell to turn it off. You don't have to say the words, but it makes it more fun. So yes, I own all the books. I've read them. I've also listened to the audio version. I own all the movies as well. And I even got that really cool Hermione Granger wand, which you flick it, like I said, and the light comes on. So I get it. I get the cool appeal of it, but let's face facts here. So I have another video where I talk about don't misrepresent magic, and I think this plays a lot into it. So I get that I put Hogwarts in the title, so I'm going to draw in folks that are fans of fantasy and fiction, and that these individuals may or may not be able to separate real magic from fantasy and fiction. Also, I'm going to draw in individuals that just don't believe in real magic and think it's all baloney, malarkey, and just silly. With that in mind, at least take the time to watch the whole video, especially when you're like, hey, how do I learn magic? Where do I go? Well, in that video, I literally give you links and talk about joining them, their websites that you can sign up for, the remote locations. You attend from home, so to speak, so you go virtually. So there's that. So I kind of answered a lot of those questions, but also let's talk about magic itself. So I think there's a misunderstanding of what magic is, and I've done many videos talking about what magic is. So, the term magic itself has its origins in Zoroastrianism, which I'm probably butchering the pronunciation of. So, yeah, I get it. You can use different terms too. Energy work, magic, mysticism. There's a lot of terms that folks can use, and people get this misconception when they hear magic. They only think of illusions and trickery, or they think of fantasy and fiction. Magic itself, there's a saying that goes, yesterday's magic is today's science. Literally, the individuals who were magical practitioners were your learned individuals. So what does that mean? That means that we're talking about your priests, doctors, scientists, etc. Those that explored the mysteries of the universe are the ones who were essentially the original magical practitioners. There are different ways of interacting with the world and understanding how it works. However, even with that in mind, these learned individuals would understand that there's a big difference between what you can do and what you can't do. There are still laws in nature that cannot be broken, and it is not the magical practitioner's purpose to break these laws. Instead, it's to learn them so they can work with the flow of nature to manifest their will. This can happen in many different ways, depending on who you speak with, myself included. This is my own personal thoughts, but it is not one that is isolated to me. This is not like, only Blaze believes this, all others do not. No, this is just one thought process when it comes to magic, that art itself is magic. Illusions and tricks is real magic. Music is magic. Painting, drawing, sculpture is magic. You are manifesting something from your imagination and bringing it out into this world. Most people think of fireballs and flying and stuff like that. Well, again, there's rules to nature. You're not going to produce flame from your hand. That's not to say that you couldn't potentially manipulate a flame and bend it with your mind. There are techniques for that. But yeah, there are individuals who explore psychokinesis as mentally moving objects or other forms of energy, such as candle flames, with their mind. There are things like that. There's also psychic ability or sensing with your extra senses, kind of being alert and aware of what's around you, and feeling through empathy, or again through different type of mental receptions, depending on the term you want to use, depending on clairaudio, clairvoyant, etc. There are different terms like that. So sure, there are some things in different parts of magic that do seem a little bit out of the ordinary, that the average individual might say, no, that's not possible, and that's fine. It comes down to, do you believe it or not? But here's the thing. When it comes to science, it's only a fact until it's proven wrong. And what I mean to say by that is, you can have a theory on something, such as the Earth being flat, which was factual at one time, until we discovered, oh, that's not the case. And then we also discovered it's not round either. It's more like, it's essentially a rock. It's misshapen, maybe more oval-like in its shape. It's not a perfect sphere. Regardless, the point is, as you come up with theories, they're true until you learn more. And we're constantly unraveling new mysteries within science. Just because we don't have the ability, for example, to look at subatomic particles. Back in the day, they weren't real. It wasn't a fact. In science, they didn't exist because they didn't have the microscopes stuff to actually look at them and observe them. Likewise, with different parts of the mind and the ability to do different types of magic, there are some things that are still considered a pseudoscience or fake science because they don't have the ability right now to validate it or to observe it. So in that regard, not having the tools or instruments to say, oh, look at it, then there is going to be this subjective realm of that might not be possible. However, some of this is possible, and some of this has been proven to a certain degree. Your personal mood and how you're feeling, whether you're depressed or happy or excited or feeling supportive, can have an impact on your health, as an example. This has been shown in different psychology disciplines. So again, yesterday's magic, today's science, it's a blending of the two. All of today's sciences are born out of magic. We live in a very magical world. Everything that we do on a daily basis has magic touching it in some way, shape, or form. It doesn't always have to be to the fantasy level of magic, mysticism, and waving of wands and flying on brooms, because a lot of that is not possible. Just like they will have movies about martial artists. Martial arts is real. People can really fight. But you have these people taking on huge armies and not getting touched. When you get in a fight, you're actually going to get hit. It's not necessarily possible to be completely untouched and unscathed. So you're going to over-dramatize it for the sake of movies. Look at any type of movie, or a detective movie or a soldier movie. They're going to over-dramatize it. And they do the same thing with fantasy and fiction when it comes to magic. So again, as I've said towards the beginning of this video, don't misrepresent magic. Yes, stuff that is fiction and fantasy, that is Dungeons and Dragons, that is Harry Potter, that is other fantasy books and novels out there, are awesome and they're fun to read. But just because someone says they're doing magic or are able to do magic does not mean they're claiming the ability to do things that you read in these novels. So in that aspect, be a little nicer to people. Just because you don't believe in it, just because it doesn't follow your personal path or your personal view of the world or what's possible, doesn't mean it's wrong or not true. And in the same breath, just because you hear, oh, magic is real and possible, don't make the assumption that, oh, all of the stuff that I've read about or seen in movies or TV shows or games or comic books or books are instantly, oh, that all has to be real. If magic's real, then this is all real. Take your time, do some research, open your mind, and consider the impossible. Thank you for watching. My name is Blaze. Remember to thumb up, like, and subscribe. Feel free to leave your comments below. Maybe some of you actually sat through this entire video. And if you have, I appreciate it. And those of you that didn't will never see this message anyway. Catch you next time.